When it comes to finance, everyone is very much interested and they pay full attention ki what exactly financial planning is. When we talk about finance means money, and how do we manage or plan our money in day-to-day life. When it comes to plan a money, we think of many areas where we are going to get benefits. But if we don't manage our money, if we don't plan about our money, then it will be a very difficult situation for us in future. For example, right now, when it comes to money now, how do we make money or how do we earn money? It's all about what type of activity or in which field we are. In last lecture, our ma'am, English ma'am, was telling about ki, what career that we are going to select or what career we should be in. We should select uh, right path, or otherwise it's very difficult to change the field and get into the other field. It will become very difficult for us. Similarly, if we are in, suppose, in the field of engineer or in the field of a teacher, and we don't plan our money, then our situation in future will become very difficult. So planning about our money is very difficult. This is what all about our financial planning is. Means earlier we don't used to have, when we were a student, we don't have this topic, financial planning. You are so lucky that you got this topic uh, at your childhood, so that you can understand about shares, mutual fund, what tax is. You have heard about taxes that your parents are paying. You heard about the planning that they were doing regarding your whatever they earn, regarding your future. Right now you're in 10th and 9th standard. Next year you will be in 10th standard, and after crossing your 12th standard you have to select some stream. In 11th you select your actual stream, but after 12th standard you decide what you want to be. Either you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a CA, or you want to be in a technical field. You decide it. So how do you decide it? It's all about your interest. And even if we decide our field, for example, I want to be a doctor, and if our parents, if our parents don't have that backup, then we won't be able to become a doctor, because it requires money for that profession. So financial planning is very important topic. Actually, it is a real life topic where you will be feeling and will be facing every time in your life. For example, right now, I'm talking about real life now. Right now, it's a lockdown, and we all are having tab, mobile, laptop. We are going through the lectures, but if we want, it's very much needed that we should have a mobile phone or tab or computer with us. But if we don't have money to purchase it, then we will postpone it. We will say that right now we don't have money. We'll be acquiring, or will be asking for money from parents. We'll be using our pockets money every day. We'll be collecting it, and when it reaches to some amount, then we will purchase at whatever cost we are going to get our laptop or computer or mobile phone, whatever you are planning about. So everything requires planning. Right now we are talking about financial planning. So this was the example, which is based on financial planning. I've given you the example of lockdown, in which our college or schools are not running and our lectures are going through online mode. So now, for example, I will be giving my example. When I will be facing a financial crisis in the sense lack of money. Example, my income is rupees X. Always our income is divided into two parts. savings and expenditure. When it comes to saving, मतलब पैसा बचाना. When it comes to expenditure, कितना खर्च करते हैं. If our income is equal to expenditure, if if our income is equal to expenditure, means whatever I earn, I expend it on purchasing some goods, my clothes, whatever the daily necessities, and whatever luxurious things, whatever I want, means I want to enjoy my life. So my saving in this case is zero. In case, suppose after 10 days, I feel like I'm not feeling well. So some amount is required and I have used all my money. Now I don't have any money in hold. That is, none of the value is being remained with me. So for medical expense, from where I should get the money? I have to borrow money from others. I have to ask for money from others. So I have to ask for money from others. Here, after asking money from others, now it is there are two cases. Either they will give me money or they will say no. Even we have expenses, I won't be able to give you money. So this is very difficult situation. If they won't be giving money, we cannot do our medical treatment and the consequences and the problems that we are going to face. So it says that whenever we earn money, means our income should always be based on expenditure plus savings. For example, if I am earning 20,000, so it should be divided in such a way that after doing expenditure, I should save something. I should have some money in saving so that it will be useful in unpredictable situations. Unpredictable situations may be of the type either medical, either medical case, or it may be natural disaster, or it may be sudden accident, you can say, and many other situations, etc. And predictable expenses that comes in expenditure. It may means I know that I have to expend money on education of my children and some other expenses related to them. Uh, Capital of professions, buying of vehicle. I want to buy a vehicle. I'll be saving the money according to that. I have to buy a house. I'll be saving according to that. Old age. These all are the basics in which is very much required. So this is the example. Now I want to share this my basic ideas of financial planning through. I will be showing this with the help of a small video which I'll be playing now. So that just go through this video will help you to understand with the help of two creatures like ant and grasshopper, how ant is very smart, working daily and saving for future, and how grasshopper enjoys his uh, recent or current life by spending it whatever he have. He or she don't bother about the future. So what type of problem he faces. Yeah, please go through. Yeah, student, because of some technical issues, I won't be able to show you a video today. So I will try to make it available tomorrow. So these all are the examples that I've thought about key I should discuss with you all so that you can understand, and some real life examples at your home you can share with your parents so that they can discuss. Means you can ask your parents how they manage their monthly planning or yearly planning, how they earn and how they expand. Means they might not give you the exact figure, but they will make you understand how things are, and it won't work very. You have heard from your parents that managing family is not so easy in day-to-day life because the expenses are too much. So I would like to say you that this all are the stuff that you should learn from your childhood, means right from today, as I'm starting with this aspect. So now I will come to the concept. This was all regarding your real life that I have discussed. Now I will go through the books, whatever is being given in your book, and I will try to explain you the stuff. So now, when it comes to planning, we need to save our money. We need to save our money. The money, saving the money is not only the question. I mean, after saving the money, how you use it and how it value grows or how it value decays. That's very important. So how in how many ways we can save our money? Either we can save our money. Normally, we means earlier our parents used to save money by keeping with them or by uh, digging the ground and storing money inside the ground. But earlier they used to feel that this is only the safest way to save the money. But in nowadays, if you will do this, then if anybody will see you are digging the ground and saving the money, they will say you're a fool since you don't know how to use your money, because the value of the money keeps on decreasing every day. For example, if I will tell you that when we used to buy a eraser, it was earlier in my childhood, it was 50 paise. I remember it was 50 paise. But when uh, that same eraser of same size, name changes as time changes, different company overtakes. So now we will go to buy eraser. We will get it around 3 to 5 rupees as per the need and requirement. 3 to 5 rupees. You can see the difference. So in 15, in more than 15 years, how the value changes from 50 paise to this value of money decreases. If you will keep your money as it is, you won't be able to buy the same thing after 3 to 4 years, as value of money decreases. So now the money is safe. Either I'm talking about today's life, either in bank or in post office. You have seen saving the money also in shares and mutual fund. Now, we won't be doing all these aspects in detail, but I can give you basic idea, because in your syllabus we don't have shares and mutual fund in detail. Bank is safe because they look after your money, means as it is, plus they pay you interest. Interest means uh, the money that you get, means it is being compounded, or simple interest is being applied on it so that you get extra money. For example, if I keep 1,000 rupees in a bank, and per month they are giving me 10% rate of interest. So 10%, actually they don't give 10% per month. I'm just giving an example. 10%. 10% of 1,000 is 100. So after 1 month, it will become 1,100. So this is the safest way, one of the safest way to keep money safe. And in post office also money is safe. But when it comes to shares and mutual fund, this place is risky because if market goes down, then you have to incur a loss or face a loss because it is like private sector. Shares and mutual funds comes in private sector. And whenever we talk about private sector, uh, there are risks. Risk means you may face, you will face, it's not compulsory. You will face risk, it's not compulsory, you will face risk. We earn lots of money from shares and mutual funds. You have seen your parents or your neighbors or your some of the relatives earning money from shares and mutual fund. You can discuss with them regarding shares and mutual fund if you want. So these all are the aspects that is being involved in the financial planning. So now, after explaining this, I will like to move with some examples. Yeah, students, we are having examples on page number 95. So whatever solved examples are there, because we are having very less number of problems, and only the part is being removed from your financial planning is practice set 6.2, question number 1, sub question 5th. It is not there. You can mark it. It is not there because of reduction of 25% syllabus from state board. And in problem set from question number 5th, it is not there. Means one, first, second, third, and fourth of problem set is there. You can mark it. So now, uh, before moving to practice set, actual practice set that is 6.1, we will discuss about solve problems. Okay. Yeah. First example. Always, yeah. Our formula is just by heart this or note. You can make a note of income is always saving plus expenditure. Savings plus expenditure. You have to by heart this formula. If I will be asking what is the expenditure, then you can say expenditure is nothing but income minus saving. These are all other expenditure. Or if I will be asking what is the saving, then saving can be given by income minus expenditure. And if you know saving and expenditure both, then you can easily find income. So this is a very important formula that will work in almost each and every problem. To complete this whole topic, this formula is very important. Okay, so now example number 1, page number 95. Shamrao's income in 2015-16 after paying all taxes is rupees 6,40,000. Means his whole income in the year 15-16 after paying taxes is 6,40,000. Second point, he pays rupees 2,000 per month. Means if we will talk about, as they are discussing about whole year, means we have to tell how much he pays for insurance whole year. In 1 year we have 12 months, so we should multiply 2,000 to 12. Whatever the amount comes, that will be for insurance for the whole year. and 20% of his annual income. Right now, we can see that our annual income is 6,40,000. So we have to find 20%. And in ratio and proportion, we have discussed about percent. If I'm writing a percent, means I am talking about a upon 100. You should remember this because we'll be using this a upon 100. He puts aside rupees 500 per month for emergencies. For the case of emergency, he is putting 500 rupees per month. And in a year, we are having 12 months. So how much he is keeping aside for emergency case? 500 into 12. How much money does he have for yearly spending? Okay, means after all those expenditures, what amount he is saving for other expenses, means what amount he saves. So now we will solve it step by step. Solution: annual income. Annual income of Shamrao's is 6 lakh 40,000. Okay. Now he pays 2,000 per month for insurance. Insurance per month. As we are discussing about his yearly spending, and they have given you any stuff that is being given in the form of month, we need to convert it to yearly. So therefore, insurance per year, or you can say yearly, is equal to 12 into 2,000. You know that 12 to the 24. After that, three zeros. As we are dealing in terms of rupees, so you should mention either you can use the notation of rupees or you can simply write rupees. So this all are rupees 24,000. Now, what else? 20% of his income into provident fund. So in private sector, provident fund, provident fund. In provident fund, how much? 20% of his annual income. 20% of annual income. Of in the sense into annual income is 6,40,000. So 20%, 20% means 20 divided by 100 into 6,40,000. You can cancel this. And what you can see, it is 1,28,000 rupees. So use a notation for rupees. Okay, so we have completed first part, that is insurance yearly, provident fund 20% is said of annual income. Annual was 6,40,000 and 20% of that. And we know that how to write 20%. 20% can be written as 20 upon 100. Of indicates multiplied by. Okay, so multiplied by, and after calculating, we got 1,28,000. What else? In case of emergencies, or for case of emergencies, he saved rupees 500 per month. Emergency per month is equal to rupees 500. So therefore, emergency yearly emergency yearly. In a year we have 12 months, so 12 into 500. So this is rupees 6,000. These are his how he invests money. He invests money in insurance, in provident fund, and for emergency he saves so much money. So what income out of 6,40,000 will be remain after spending in so much, or you can say investing in this much fields. So what we will do, we will add all this and we will subtract, or add all this in the sense insurance yearly, provident fund, and emergency yearly. We should add this values and subtract it from the annual income. We will, the amount remained is available for yearly expenses. Okay. So total, therefore total planned expenditure, you can say, ये भी एक तरीके का खर्चा है. Total planned expenditure is equal to this value, and this value. Hence, 24,000 plus 1 lakh, 28,000 plus 6,000. So after adding, how much we got? It becomes 30. So it is, I'll write out, not visible, I think so. So total is 1,58,000. These all are the planned expenditure. These all are the planned expenditure. Now the amount available for yearly expense. Amount available for yearly expenses is equal to total income was 6,40,000. Out of that, we'll be subtracting our planned expenditure 1,58,000. So I can see how much it remains. 4,82,000 is available for the yearly expense. So hope this problem was very easy and you can understand it. And as it is very interesting because it is based on real life expenses, we can see this all stuff is being used in our daily life by our parents or our relatives or neighbor if they discuss about those stuffs. Now you can learn step by step how to manage income or what our parents are telling about. We should not expend so much money, or we should avoid using so much money here and there because they have some particular budget, and according to that only they plan their whole system. And whenever they tell you that we can't buy it this month or we will be buying it next month, means they have planned something for you. So never insist on those stuffs. You know we want. Never force them. Just try to understand. These all are the problems which make us understand how the real how the real life is all about and what type of step is to be taken. Yeah. So now uh, we'll start with the next problem. There is example two. It is based on our compound interest and simple interest. Right now, they have not used simple interest, but compound interest as we have studied in our earlier classes. Mr. Shah invested Mr. Shah invested rupees 3 lakh 20,000 in a bank at 10% compound interest. He also invested rupees 2 lakh 40,000 in mutual funds. Okay, at market rates, he got rupees 3 lakh 5,000 after 2 years. Okay, means suppose if I will invest 2 lakh 40,000 now, after 2 years I'll be getting 3 lakh 5,000 according to this condition I'm talking about. How much did he gain? कितना पैसा मिला? Okay, we can find out easily. Difference between the amount invested, difference between the amount invested and amount received. For example, if I am investing 100 rupees and next day I am getting 200 rupees, so what is the gain? 200 minus 100. This gives me 100. So it is again the difference between the amount you are receiving and the amount you have invested that comes under gain. Okay. So which of his investments was more profitable? More, whenever it comes to more profitable, we can't uh, decide on the amount invested. If the amount invested in both, wait, I will be giving one example so that you can understand where things are profitable and non-profitable. If suppose there are two companies, say X and Y, I've invested 100 in company X and rupees 100 in company Y. After 1 month, they have returned me, company X has returned me 150 rupees and company Y has returned me 155 rupees. So by observation, this is a return and this is a money invested. In current situation, I've invested 100 in both the companies and the return that I'm getting, total return from company X is 150 and from company Y is 155 rupees. By observation, we can see that anytime this company Y is better than company X. So we'll be trusting company Y more because they have returned me well. Why? Because the amount invested and the duration was same. But when the amount invested is different, for example, 1,000 here and 2,000 here, and they have returned me 1,250, and here they have returned me 2,000, 2,250. So from here, how to conclude? The amount returned is same, but the amount invested is different. So this all are the cases where we need to find rate of return. Rate of return. The companies whose rate of return is greater. The company, for example, rate of return of company X is greater than company Y. So I will be saying this company X is giving me better return and it is better. Now, how to find this rate of return? The amount you are getting, the total amount invested into 100, invested amount you gain upon investment into 100, you will get the rate of return. Now, let's come to this problem. This problem is based on rate of return, and we will try to understand how they have solved a problem. We will be coming across certain problems in a practice set 6.1, so that it will be very useful. Okay, so Mr. Shah, as they have given years for only mutual funds, we will assume the same the amount that is being kept by Mr. Shah in a bank. Mr. Shah, if you want, you can draw this diagram so that you can understand it easily. Mr. Shah invested in bank and in mutual funds, or you can say what they have given, share mutual funds. Okay. In bank, how much he invested? Invested 3,20,000, and interest that has been compounded at 10%. And in mutual funds, he invested 2,40,000. The return he got 3,05,000, and it is after 2 years. It's all about comparison. So we'll be taking 2 years for mutual funds as well as 2 years for bank. Means bank took 2 years to provide a compound interest at a compound interest of 10%, and mutual fund took 2 years to return so much of amount after investing amount of or principal of 2,40,000. Difference between amount and principal. Amount means principal plus interest. Whatever we invest, whatever the actual amount that we are using or we are giving to the company or to the bank or the investment as an investment, that is called as principal. Whatever we receive means principal plus some extra amount, that is in the terms of interest you can say, that is called as amount. Difference between principal and amount. Okay, so now first we will calculate the compound interest on the money invested in the bank. Compound interest compound interest is given by A minus P, that is amount minus principal. Yeah, so formula for amount which is being calculated for the compounded interest is given by principal amount 1 plus R by 100 raised to N, where R stands for the rate of compounded interest and N stands for the number of years, minus P. As we can see that P is common, just take it outside and bracket 1 plus value of R is, that is 10%, as we have written already, divide by 100. This is actually R percent now. So we already write divide by 100, so that's why we are writing only value of R, that is 10 raised to 2 minus 1. Now, uh, as a principal, what amount we have invested? 3,20,000. 1 plus, or you can, since we can see that denominator is not same, just do cross multiplication, 100 plus 10 divided by 100 raised to 2 minus 1. So is equal to 3 lakh 20,000, and here 100 plus 10 is 110 divided by 100 raised to 2 minus 1. 0 0 cancel. 11 divided by 10 means 1.1. I'm rubbing this part because this part is required. So 3,20,000 into, in bracket, 1.1 square. 11 square is 121. So 1.1 square is, we have to take decimal before 2 digit. So this will be 1.21 minus 1. Hope step is clear. After that, 3,20,000. After subtracting, what you're getting? 0.21. After multiplication, we'll be getting rupees 67,200. Okay. So the amount, or you can say the interest that is being received by Mr. Shah from the bank, other than the principal, taking out. So it is 67,200. Now we will find the difference for the mutual funds. This is the interest received from bank. Our interest received from mutual funds is the difference. 3,05,000 minus 2,40,000. What is the difference? You can see a difference. It is of rupees 65,000. Now I can see that compound interest is greater than the interest that I received from mutual fund, but the amount invested is different. So you can't conclude. You can't conclude for from here key which is the better one. The amount we are getting is different. This one compound interest is greater than 65. If you won't be calculating, rate of interest, and without understanding, you can say this one is better compound interest. So bank giving you the better return, which is incorrect. So whatever we are thinking about this concept is totally wrong. Then I have asked you that whenever the amount invested 3,20,000 to 40,000 is different, we have to calculate what rate of interest. Now, rate of interest in the sense you can say percentage of interest, no problem. Here they have given you percentage of interest. Percentage of interest. I'm talking about bank. Now, percentage of interest is equal to how much he gain as an interest from bank. That is 67,200 divided by how much he invested in a bank, 3,20,000 into 100. Into 100. The formula that is being told to you earlier. There are lots of students waiting. Let me admit. Now, after this, after cancellation of zeros, dividing 672 by 32, I'll be getting answer 21. That is 672 when divided by 32 means 32 into 21, answer is 672. So the rate of percentage of interest here is 21%, or you can say profit is 21%. Now we'll calculate percentage or rate of interest from mutual funds, and the company or the mutual funds or banks, whichever gives you the better rate of interest is the better one anytime. From bank I got 21%. Now from mutual funds, take this. Now from mutual funds, how much I got? I got 65,000 as a profit, or you can say interest divided by the amount invested is 2,40,000 into 100. Cancel this 00, this 00, and after that what remains? 650 when divided by 24. What will be getting? We'll be getting 27.08. So from mutual funds, I got 27.08 percentage. Which one is greater? 27.08% is greater than 21% anytime. So therefore, last statement, the investment, the investment done by Mr. Shah, the investment done by Mr. Shah the investment done by Mr. Shah in mutual funds is more profitable. Is it okay? Why it is more profitable? Because I can see that the rate of return from mutual funds was 27.08 and from bank is 21%. So 27 is anytime good. So therefore, the investment in mutual fund is more profitable. Yeah. So now we have completed two problems. There was actually a solved problem. This all is giving me a basic ideas. This all is giving me a basic idea how to actually cope up with the problem, how to go step by step. First, what we have to calculate. Second step should be what, and accordingly we learn how the calculation is being or it should be done. As this all are real life examples, this can be applied when you will go in bank with your parents. There you can see how much interest they are paying and how much your parents are investing and how much returns they are getting in a month or in a year. Hope this example is understood. We will proceed with next example. One more example we will do. Now, example number third. Mr. Sheikh invested rupees 4 lakh in a glass industry. Okay. After 2 years, he received 5 lakh 20,000 from the industry. Putting aside the original investment, he invested his gains in a fixed deposit and in the shares in the ratio 3:2. How much amount did he invested originally in each of the scheme? Okay. So what they are trying to say is that Mr. Sheikh did an investment. Investment where in a glass industry. How much he invested? Invested 4 lakh. Hope things are okay. Now, after 2 years, after 2 years, he received amount. Amount matlab it has interest, which we will find the difference and we will be separating it from the amount. Amount he received is 5,20,000. Okay. So after getting 5,20,000, what he did, he separated the original investment. Original investment means just we will find the difference. That is interest. 520 means 5,20,000 minus 4 lakh. So difference is 1,20,000. This is the interest that I gain in the investment. So now I can see that the interest amount gained by Mr. Sheikh is 1,20,000. Now after keeping aside this 4 lakh, means he is only talking about the interest. He invested his gains. Gains means the interest that he gained in a fixed deposit and in shares. Now this should be divided into two parts. Fixed deposit and shares. Fixed deposit, how much he invested in fixed deposit, they have not given, but they have given as in the ratio. For example, they have given, not example, they have given in the ratio 3:2. 3:2 means 3 part of this 1,20,000 is being deposited as a fixed deposit, and 2 part of 1,20,000 is being used in a shares. So how much amount did he invested originally? Means they want to find the actual amount. How to find this? We can see 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay. 3 by 5th part of 120. 1,20,000 is in fixed deposit and 2 by 5th part is in shares. Ratio, na? Ratio means total 5 and out of total 3 parts. 3 parts of what? The amount that he gained through. Okay, so let me solve this for you. As we can understand, this part is 1 zar and this is 2 to carry. So I'm getting how much? 24,000, and 3 into 24,000 is 8, 72. 72,000 rupees in fixed deposit. This is very easy. And as you can subtract this amount from 1,20,000, you will get shares, or you have to calculate from here. 1 zar and here 24,000, and after that it is 48,000. So if you will add, you will get 1,20,000. So from here we can conclude that the amount that he gained, that is 1,20,000. Out of that, 72,000 is being used by Mr. Sheikh in fixed deposit, and 48,000 is being used by him in shares. Hope these examples are clear. So in next lecture, we will start with practice set 6.1, and along with that, I will play that video. Ma'am.